Welcome to Cozy Sleepy Tales, a place where soft stories guide you into deep, magical sleep. Take a slow breath, let the day fade away, and allow this cozy world of gentle fantasy to carry you into rest. If this peaceful space feels like home, consider subscribing. New Sleepy Tales arrive every week to keep you company through the night. Your story begins now. There is a place where the sea forgets to rush, where waves arrive so slowly you could count the seconds between one and the next. The water is dark, not threatening, just deep and quiet. Snow falls here, even by the ocean. Soft flakes that melt the moment they touch the water, but gather on the stones, on the driftwood, on the narrow path that winds along the shore. The air smells of salt, of cold, of something older than memory. And in the distance, standing on a low cliff wrapped in mist, there is a lighthouse. Its light turns, slowly, one rotation every 12 breaths. You can see it from where you stand, far down the beach. A beam of pale gold that sweeps across the water, across the rocks, across the snow-dusted grass. It doesn't call to you, it simply is. The wind here is gentle. It moves through your hair, across your face, but it doesn't bite. It hums, low and constant, like a lullaby sung by the earth itself. You walk, one step, then another. Your boots press into the wet sand. The sound is soft, muffled by the snow, by the mist, by the weight of the stillness all around you. There are no gulls crying, no distant ships, no voices, just the sea, and the light, and your own slow breathing. The stones along the shore are smooth, rounded by 1,000 tides. They gleam faintly in the glow from the lighthouse, wet and dark and beautiful. You pass a piece of driftwood, bleached white by sun and salt. It looks like bone, but soft, harmless. You don't touch it. You just keep walking. The lighthouse beam sweeps past you. Once, twice, 3 times. Each time the world brightens for a moment. The snow catches the light, the water shimmers, and then it all fades back into gentle shadow. You breathe in. The cold air fills your lungs. You breathe out. A small cloud forms in front of your face, then dissolves. The snow continues to fall. It catches on your shoulders, on your sleeves, melts slowly against your skin. You are not cold. You are wrapped in something warm, a cloak perhaps, or simply the knowledge that here nothing can harm you. The path curves. You follow it without thinking. There is no hurry. There's nowhere else to be. The sea whispers to your left, a constant rhythmic sound. Not quite words, but close. Like a voice you almost recognize, speaking in a language you almost understand. The lighthouse grows slightly larger. Not much, just enough to know you're moving toward it. The light sweeps. Again and again. You count your steps without meaning to. 1, 2, 3, 4. The numbers don't matter. But the rhythm does. Left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot. The snow beneath your boots makes a soft, crunching sound. Gentle, rhythmic. You pass a cluster of rocks stacked by time or tide into something almost like a cairn. Snow gathers in the crevices. The lighthouse beam touches them. They glow for a moment, then fade. You keep walking. The mist thickens slightly, not enough to obscure your path, but enough to soften the edges of everything. The world becomes gentler, quieter. Even the sound of the sea grows more distant, as if it's giving you space, as if it knows you need the silence. Your breath comes slow and steady. In, out, in, out. The light sweeps past. You don't look directly at it. You just let it wash over you. Warm, golden, safe. There is a wooden post ahead, leaning slightly to one side, half buried in sand and snow. Once it might have held a sign, or marked a boundary. Now it just stands. Patient, weathered, beautiful in its age. You pass it without pausing. The lighthouse is closer now. You can see the stone of its base. Dark gray, almost black, flecked with something that might be quartz, catching the light when the beam passes. The structure is old, very old, but strong. Unshaken by wind or wave or time. You walk. The snow continues. The sea whispers. The light turns. And you feel, without words, without thought, that this is exactly where you are meant to be. Not because of destiny, not because of purpose, but because here, in this moment, with the snow and the sea and the turning light, everything is exactly as it should be. Your shoulders relax. Your jaw unclenches. Your breath deepens. You are so tired. Not in a bad way. Just in the way of someone who has walked a long road and finally sees home. The lighthouse is not home. Not yet. But it could be, or something like it. You walk, and the light keeps turning, and the snow keeps falling, and the world grows softer, quieter, safer with every step. The lighthouse does not call. It does not beckon or demand. It simply exists. Steady, constant, a point of light in a world of gentle dark. You are closer now. Close enough to see the texture of the stone, the way moss grows in sheltered cracks, the way snow gathers on the narrow ledges, building small drifts that will be gone by morning. The beam continues its rotation. 12 breaths. Every time. Never faster, never slower. You could set your heartbeat by it. Perhaps you already have. The path narrows slightly as it begins to climb. Not steeply. Just enough to feel the shift in your legs, the slight effort in your breathing. But it's a good effort. The kind that makes you feel alive without exhausting you. The sea is below you now. You can still hear it, but the sound has changed. Less immediate. More like memory. The wind carries the scent of salt and cold stone, of winter settling in, of time moving slowly the way it should. There are stones along the path here, deliberately placed, though you don't know by whom or when. They guide your feet. They keep you safe. You don't question them. You simply follow. The lighthouse grows, not suddenly, but with each step it becomes more real, more solid. The light sweeps across your face, warm, not in temperature, but in feeling, like being seen by something that wishes you well. You pause, not because you must, but because the moment asks for it. You stand in the middle of the path and simply breathe. The snow falls on your upturned face, cold pinpricks that melt instantly against your skin. The light sweeps past. Once, twice, 3 times. Each time you feel a little more held, a little more safe. You continue. The stone of the lighthouse is close enough to touch now, though you don't reach out yet. You just look. The surface is rough, worn by weather, but strong, unbreakable. There are no windows at this level, just stone, just strength, just presence. The light turns overhead. The mechanism makes a sound, soft, rhythmic, like breathing, like a heartbeat, like the patient turning of the earth itself. You walk around the base, following the curve of the stone. Your hand trails along the wall. Cold, solid. real. The snow has gathered in a drift against the northern side, sheltered from the wind. It glows faintly in the reflected light. Beautiful, simple, enough. You find the door. It is wooden, old, weathered gray by salt and time. There is no lock, just a simple latch. You rest your hand on it, not lifting, not opening, just feeling the cold metal against your palm. You are not ready to go in. Not yet. So you step back, and you look up. The lighthouse rises above you. Tall, straight, crowned with the turning light. The beam sweeps across the sky, across the snow, across the distant water, across you. And you understand, without words, that this light has been turning for longer than you can imagine. And it will turn long after you are gone. And there is comfort in that. Not sadness, just the deep, quiet knowledge that some things endure. Some things remain. Some things are always there, even when you cannot see them. You breathe. In, out, in, out. The light sweeps. The snow falls. The sea whispers its endless lullaby, and you stand at the base of the lighthouse, wrapped in peace, knowing that when you are ready, the door will open. But not yet. For now, it is enough to simply be here, to simply stand, to simply breathe, and let the light do what light does best: shine. You lift the latch. The sound is quiet. A soft click that barely disturbs the silence. The door opens inward, easily, as if it has been waiting. You step inside. The air is different here, warmer. Not hot, just sheltered. The cold stays outside, where it belongs. The door closes behind you with a gentle sound. Not a slam, just a settling, a completion. You stand in a small entry space. Stone walls worn smooth by countless hands. A single lantern hangs from a hook, its flame steady and golden. It casts long shadows that don't frighten. They just make the space feel smaller, cozier, safe. Ahead of you, a staircase begins. It curves, following the inner wall of the lighthouse, spiraling upward into shadow. The steps are stone, each one worn in the center where generations of feet have climbed. There is no railing, just the wall to your left, smooth and close, and empty air to your right. But you are not afraid. You rest your hand on the wall. The stone is cool, solid. You take the first step. Your foot finds the worn hollow naturally. It fits, as if the stone remembers your shape. You take the second step. And the third. The rhythm is slow, deliberate. One step. Breathe. Another step. Breathe. The spiral pulls you gently upward. Not rushing. Never rushing. Just ascending at the pace of your breath. The lantern light below grows dimmer. The shadows deepen. But there is no darkness that frightens. Only the soft, close darkness of safety, of shelter, of a place that holds you. You keep climbing. One step, one breath, one moment, then the next. Your hand trails along the wall. The stone speaks to your palm, not in words, but in texture, in temperature, in the simple fact of its being. You pass a narrow window, just a slit in the stone. Through it, you glimpse the night, the snow, the distant sea. The beam of light sweeps past outside. For a moment, the spiral stair glows. Then shadow returns, and you keep climbing. One step, breathe. Another step, breathe. The rhythm becomes everything. Your heartbeat slows to match it. Your thoughts quiet to honor it. There is nothing but the spiral. Nothing but the stone. Nothing but the patient, endless upward curve. You lose track of how many steps you've climbed. It doesn't matter. Numbers have no place here. Only breath, only movement, only the slow, inevitable rise toward the light. Another window, a glimpse of stars between clouds. The beam sweeps. Gone. You climb. The air grows slightly warmer. Not uncomfortably so. Just enough to notice. Enough to know you're rising. Getting closer. Your legs move without effort. As if the staircase itself carries you. As if you weigh nothing at all. One step. Breathe. Another step. Breathe. The curve of the spiral is hypnotic. Always turning, always the same. Yet never repetitive. Each step is its own moment. Its own small infinity. You pass another window. Through this one, you see the beam itself as it sweeps across the landscape. It touches the snow, the water, the distant rocks. It touches everything with the same gentle light. And then it passes, and the world returns to shadow. You keep climbing. The wall under your hand is warmer now. Still stone, still solid, but warmer, as if the light above radiates not just brightness, but heat, but comfort. One step, breathe. Another step, breathe. You could climb forever, and part of you wants to. Part of you wants to exist only in this spiral, only in this rhythm, only in this slow, patient rising toward something you cannot yet name. But the stairs continue, and so do you. One step at a time, one breath at a time. Rising, always rising, toward the light. The spiral opens, without warning, without fanfare. One moment you are climbing. The next, you step onto a landing, a room. Circular like everything here, following the shape of the lighthouse itself. The walls are still stone, but here they are covered. Shelves have been built into the curves, wooden shelves, dark with age, and on them, books. So many books. Some are tall and thin, some are wide and squat. Some have leather bindings, cracked and soft. Some have covers of cloth, faded to colors that might once have been bright. There is a table in the center. Round, of course. Its surface is scattered with maps. Old maps drawn by hand. Coastlines that curl like sleeping cats. Islands that dot the paper like scattered thoughts. Routes marked in faded ink. Some crossed out, some circled. Some traced over and over until the paper is thin. You move closer. Your fingers hover over one map. You don't touch. You just look. The map shows this coast, or something like it. The lighthouse is marked with a small star, and from it, lines radiate outward. Not routes exactly, more like connections, threads, gentle suggestions of direction. You look up. The shelves hold more than books. There are journals, leather-bound, their pages swollen with salt air and time. You pull one down. Gently. It opens in your hands like a sigh. The pages are covered in careful handwriting. Different hands, different inks, different languages, some of them, but the same subject. Sleep, dreams, journeys taken in the night. You read a passage, your eyes moving slowly across the faded words. The light found me when I was lost. Not in body. I knew where I stood, but in spirit, in the deep places where direction matters more than position. I climbed the spiral. I reached this room, and here I learned that being lost is sometimes just being between one knowing and the next. You close the journal. Place it back on the shelf. Your fingers trail across the spines of others. So many voices, so many travelers, all of them drawn here, all of them finding rest. There is a chair by the table, simple, wooden, worn smooth by use. You sit. The chair holds you perfectly, as if it was made for your exact shape, your exact weight, your exact weariness. You rest your hands on the table. The wood is cool and smooth. You close your eyes. Just for a moment. The room breathes around you. You can hear the mechanism of the light above, that soft, rhythmic turning, the patient heartbeat of the lighthouse. You open your eyes. Another journal sits before you. You don't remember reaching for it. But here it is. You open it. The pages are blank. All of them. Waiting. You understand. This is for the next traveler, or the one after that. Or perhaps for you, if you choose to leave a message for whoever comes next. But you don't feel the need to write. Not yet. Your message is simply this. You were here. You climbed. You arrived. And that is enough. You close the blank journal, place it back with the others, and you look around the room once more, at the books that hold 1,000 sleepy journeys, at the maps that chart courses through dream and distance, at the table that has supported countless tired hands. This is a place of transition, a place between the climb and the arrival, between the shore and the light, between waking and sleep. You stand, slowly. The chair releases you gently. You move to the far side of the room. Another staircase begins here, narrower than the first, steeper, but not forbidding, just more intimate, more focused. You place your foot on the first step, but you pause. You look back at the room, at the gathered wisdom of travelers who came before, at the peace they left behind, and you carry that peace with you as you begin to climb again. One step, breathe. Another step, breathe, rising toward the light. The second spiral is shorter. Steeper, yes, but fewer steps. As if the lighthouse understands you are closer now, as if it wants to ease your way. You climb. One step, breathe. Another step, breathe. And then, without ceremony, you arrive. Another landing, another room. This one is smaller, more lived in. There is a bed in the corner, narrow, covered with quilts that look older than memory, patched and repatched in 100 different fabrics, some soft, some coarse, all of them holding stories you'll never know. There is a small stove, black iron, its belly glowing faintly with banked coals. The warmth reaches you, gentle, surrounding, like being wrapped in invisible arms. And there, sitting in a chair by the stove, is the keeper. Old, so very old, but not frail, just weathered, like driftwood, like stone. His hands rest in his lap, rough hands, calloused, scarred by work and time, but gentle. You can tell just by looking. His eyes are closed, not sleeping, just resting. He breathes slowly, deeply, the kind of breathing that comes from a lifetime of patience. You don't speak, neither does he. There is no need. You move quietly to the other chair, smaller than his, positioned to face the stove. You sit. The keeper's eyes open, not suddenly, just a slow lifting of lids, as if he's been aware of you the whole time. His eyes are gray, the color of the sea on a calm day, the color of stone in shadow. He looks at you, not examining, not judging, just seeing, and in that seeing you feel known. Not understood exactly, but acknowledged, accepted, welcomed. He nods, just once. A small movement, but it means everything. You nod back, and that is the whole of your conversation. The keeper turns his gaze back to the stove. You do the same. The coals glow. Red, orange, the color of autumn leaves, the color of sunset, the color of warmth made visible. You watch them breathe, because they do breathe, in their own way, brightening, dimming, brightening again. The keeper stirs one of the coals with a poker. The movement is so slow, so deliberate, it's almost meditative. He doesn't rush, he doesn't force, he just makes a small adjustment, and the coals respond, glowing a little brighter, settling a little deeper into their bed of ash. He replaces the poker, returns his hands to his lap, and is still again. You understand, watching him, that this is his work. Not the grand work of lighting the beacon, but the small work. The constant work, the work of tending, of maintaining, of ensuring that the light above never fails, not through heroics, but through endless patient care. One adjustment at a time, one coal at a time, one breath at a time. You feel your own breathing slow to match his. Deep, steady, unrushed. The room is so warm, so safe. The walls hold you. The stove warms you. The keeper's presence steadies you. And above, you can hear the mechanism of the light, turning, always turning, that patient, endless rotation. The keeper doesn't look up. He doesn't need to. He knows the light is there. He knows it's turning. He knows it's doing exactly what it should, because he made it so, through decades of small adjustments, through a lifetime of quiet care. You sit together in silence, and the silence is not empty. It's full, full of warmth, full of peace, full of the deep satisfaction that comes from work well done, from duty honored, from a life spent in service to something greater than oneself. The keeper's eyes drift closed again. His breathing deepens. He is so tired. You can see it, feel it, but it's a good tiredness. The tiredness of a long day's work completed. The tiredness of knowing you can rest. That everything is as it should be. That the light will turn. That the night will pass. That morning will come. As it always does, you close your own eyes, just for a moment. And in that moment, you understand why you came here. Not for answers, not for wisdom, not for transformation, but for this quiet, this warmth, this simple, profound sense of being exactly where you belong. Even if only for now, even if only for tonight, it is enough. More than enough. It is everything. There is one more staircase. The keeper doesn't rise to show you. He doesn't need to. You can see it. A narrow ladder, really. More than stairs. Built into the wall. Leading up to a hatch in the ceiling. You stand. The keeper opens his eyes. Nods once more. Permission. Blessing. Farewell. You climb the ladder. Your hands find the rungs easily. Worn smooth by countless climbs, your feet follow. One rung, then another. The hatch is not locked. You push, it lifts, and you emerge into the light, the lantern room, the heart of the lighthouse. It is smaller than you imagined, but perfect. The walls are glass. Panels of thick, old glass in frames of tarnished brass. Through them you can see the night, the snow, the sea far below, the world spread out in darkness, touched here and there by your light, and in the center of the room the light itself, the lens, enormous, faceted like a jewel, refracting, magnifying, taking the small flame at its heart and transforming it into that steady, sweeping beam. The lens rotates on a mechanism of gears and weights. You can see them below, through a gap in the floor. Brass wheels, iron chains, all moving with perfect precision, clicking, turning, breathing their mechanical breath. You move closer to the lens, not touching, just standing near. The heat from the flame is gentle. The light is bright but not blinding. It knows you're there. It doesn't hurt you. You watch the lens turn, slowly, one full rotation every 12 breaths. You count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The beam sweeps across the windows, across the night, touching everything, missing nothing. You move to the windows. Press your palm against the cold glass. Below, the coast stretches away into darkness. But here and there, you see other lights, small lights, candles in windows, lanterns on porches, fires in hearths, a whole constellation of tiny flames. People awake in the night, or just falling asleep. All of them touched by this light, whether they know it or not, whether they see it or not. The light sweeps and sweeps and sweeps again. You turn back to the lens, to the flame at its heart. It is so small, just a wick and oil. Nothing grand, nothing special, and yet, refracted through this lens, carried by this mechanism, tended by that tired keeper below, it becomes something vast. Something that reaches across miles, that guides ships, that comforts travelers, that says, without words, you are not alone. There is a place here. There is a light. There is something constant in a world that never stops changing. You sit on the narrow bench that circles the room, your back against the glass, your eyes on the turning lens. The rhythm is everything. Turn, breathe, turn, breathe, turn, breathe. Your heartbeat slows to match it, your thoughts quiet to honor it. There is nothing to do here, nothing to achieve, nothing to prove. There is only the light and the night, and you, bearing witness to both. The mechanism clicks, the gears turn, the chains whisper, and the light continues its endless sweep. Across the water, across the snow, across the darkness, across you, always returning, always beginning again, never tiring, never stopping, never giving up. You close your eyes, the light continues. You can feel it. Even with your eyes closed, you can feel the moment it passes over you. A warmth, a presence, a gentle touch that says, I see you. You are here. You are safe. And that is enough. More than enough. It is everything. The night deepens. You can feel it, even here. The quality of the darkness beyond the windows changes, becomes richer, heavier, not oppressive, just more present, more itself. The snow has stopped. The clouds have cleared. Now there are stars. So many stars. They crowd the sky, distant and cold and beautiful. The beam of the lighthouse sweeps across them. For a moment, the stars seem to brighten, as if greeting the light, as if acknowledging a fellow traveler through the dark. You stand, move to the lens. You don't know why. You're not the keeper. This isn't your task, but your hands move anyway, reaching for a small wheel on the side of the mechanism. You turn it, gently. The flame responds, growing slightly smaller. The light softens, not dimming exactly, just gentling, becoming more suited to the deep night, less about guidance, more about presence. The beam continues its sweep, but now it feels different, less insistent, more like a lullaby, like a hand on a forehead, like a whisper that says, sleep now. I'll keep watch. You turn the wheel back, just a fraction. The flame steadies at exactly the right height. You don't know how you know. You just do. Your hands fall away. The light continues. perfect, constant, eternal. You move back to the bench. Sit. The glass behind you is cold, but you don't mind. It keeps you awake, aware, present. The stars wheel overhead. You can see them through the glass ceiling. Constellations you might have known once, or might never have learned. It doesn't matter. They are beautiful regardless. The beam sweeps beneath them. Horizontal where they are distant, earthly where they are celestial. Two kinds of light, two kinds of constancy, both saying the same thing. You are not alone, even in the deepest dark, even in the longest night. There is light, there is watching, there is care. The mechanism ticks, the gears turn, the flame burns, and you sit, just sit, held by the night, held by the light, held by the perfect balance between the two. Your breathing slows, deepens. Each breath takes longer than the last. Not because you're struggling, but because there's no rush, no need for urgency. Only this moment, and this one, and this one, stretching out, softening, becoming less like separate moments and more like one long, gentle now. The light sweeps. You breathe. The stars shine. You breathe. The world turns. You breathe. And everything is exactly as it should be. The keeper is below, resting, trusting the light to do its work, trusting the mechanism, trusting the flame, trusting you, perhaps, though you've done nothing, been nothing but present. But perhaps that's enough. Perhaps presence is all that's ever asked. The night deepens still. The stars grow brighter. The beam grows softer. And you sit in the center of it all. Not guiding, not controlling, just witnessing, just being, just allowing the light to do what light does. Shine. You are no longer in the lighthouse. You don't remember descending. Don't remember saying goodbye to the keeper. Don't remember opening the door. But here you are, on the shore again, far from the lighthouse now, far enough that it's small against the sky, a dark silhouette, except for the light, always the light, sweeping, turning, never stopping. You stand and watch. The snow has returned. Gentle flakes that catch the starlight, that catch the beam when it passes, glowing for an instant, then fading back to shadow. The sea is quiet, barely moving, just a soft susurrus of water against stone, against sand, against itself. You could leave, walk back to wherever you came from, but you don't. Not yet. You sit on a piece of driftwood, smooth and cold beneath you, and you watch the lighthouse. The beam sweeps across the water, across the rocks, across the sky, across you. One rotation, 12 breaths, then again, and again, and again. You lose count. Time loses meaning. There is only the light, only the night, only the patient, endless watching. Other travelers might see this light, might be guided by it, might find their way home because of it. But you know now that's not the light's purpose. Not really. The light doesn't guide. It simply shines. It simply is. And in being, it becomes whatever is needed. Guide, companion, witness, promise. The snow falls into your hair, onto your shoulders. You don't brush it away. You let it gather, let it melt, let it become part of you. The beam sweeps. You breathe. The world continues. You breathe. The lighthouse stands. You breathe. And there is nothing more to do, nothing more to be. Only this, only here, only now. The stars are fading, not because dawn is coming, but because the snow clouds are returning, thick and low. Soon the sky will be hidden, but the light will remain, sweeping through the snow, touching nothing, missing nothing, being everything it needs to be. You close your eyes. The light sweeps past. You feel it through your eyelids, a gentle brightening, a warmth, a knowing. You open your eyes. The lighthouse stands. The light turns. The night deepens, and you are held by nothing you can name, by everything that matters. You don't need to understand. You only need to be here, to witness, to receive, and that is enough. More than enough. It is everything.